People deluded. Now, it's been a long summer, man. You've had the Toulon, you've had the under-20s, you've had the under-17s, you've had the whole heap of youth, under-18s for England. You lot have seen my reviews. We've been just about everywhere, people, really and truly. Obviously, within that, I've still tried to keep up to date with Arsenal in pre-season and offer general talking points. So football never stops for me because summer is obviously when there's a lot of youth tournaments. The under-19s championship was the last furlong for me until the season starts. And I must admit, it was a difficult competition for me to watch. A lot of the games in England were kicking off at 6. I finished work at 6. So it was very tough to really work around it, watch the games, be clued up. So I admittedly, out of all of them this summer, it's probably my worst performance in terms of being able to run the rule over everybody. But this competition in particular, I was trying to not just look at potential or players I feel could get decent moves. I'm trying to look at players I genuinely believe in my heart. And the first one, in fact, before that, congratulations obviously to Spain for winning it. The team is littered with talent. You've obviously got Miranda, you've got Moha, you've got Garcia, Ferran Torres, one of the players, if not the player of the tournament. You've got Victor Molero, I believe his name is, the bold guy that plays for Atletico Madrid, winger. I think he's decent. I think their keeper as well. What's their keeper, man? Tanas or something. He's got one of them sort of names there. Let me try and find it, people. I feel he was a good ball player and he was a good shot stopper. So I feel he could have went on to have a good future. I feel Spain had some good players. I feel Felix Correa of obviously Portugal. I think he's actually moving to Manchester City now from Sporting Lisbon. Good player, man. One of the players for me. Vieira was good, as was Ferreira of Thingy, Portugal, as was the winger João Mario as well, man. They had some. He was decent, João Mario. I don't know what team he plays for. I think he plays for Porto. He can play as a winger as well as a striker. He was decent. But Bryan Gil, if I haven't said it already, Bryan Gil was for me. I think he plays for Seville. I think he's someone I'm going to look at a lot. He's someone I believe next season I'm going to look at. But the keeper I'm talking about, he plays for Barcelona. It's Arnau Tanas Orena. I believe that's his name. He's decent, man. 18 years of age. I was impressed with him this competition, really and truly. I liked Cardoso of Portugal as well, the under-19 centre half. He didn't have. There were times he did some shocking stuff, but I do think a bit more scouting. Bit more scouting, and he looks decent. And I do think he doesn't play for one of the Sporting Lisbons, the Portos or Benficas. And I do think if he doesn't already, he will be playing for one of them because I think he's a decent centre half. You obviously had Tavares as well. He can play on. I think he can play on either side of the fullbacks as well. What's the other fullback they had? Similar one with hair like that. Lopez, that Portugal I'm talking about. Portugal also littered with talent, as is Spain, people, man. Like, Spain really had some talents. Eric Garcia of Manchester City was composed in the tournament. There's some very decent players. You obviously had Sergio Gomez. Like, the whole of the Spanish under-19 side, if the majority of them are going to go on to do decent things. Portugal as well. Portugal littered with talent, man. Like, Felix Correa will be the player of the tournament for me from a Portugal's point of view. But they had a decent squad. Their striker, what's their striker's name? I think he was their top goal scorer technically, people. I'll find out the striker's name. One sec. He's got 4 goals in this competition. I'm sure of it, man. Yeah, that's it. That's his name. It's Goncalo Ramos. I think he's my sort of striker. I think he can play in a couple of positions, but I saw him playing up front. He likes to try and rough up this centre half, try and kind of discourage them from playing really and truly. So I liked him. I liked Jandro Onello, of course. Like I said, the whole of the Spain team, man. Ferran Torres probably the player of the tournament. I like Bryan Gil. I believe he's a lovely crosser of a ball, and Seville have a talent on their hands. Moving on, I did like Armenia's. Oh gosh, I lost my scouting report. Here we go. I did like Armenia's German Kobashian. I think he's 19. He had a decent technical level. I did try and do some research. I couldn't find out what team he plays for, but he was sharp little 1-2s, good in tight spaces, looking to provoke the opposition. I feel he was a decent player. Felix Correa, like I said, he obviously great game against Italy. Italy probably the best game. Standout player for me for Portugal the tournament, man. very creative winger, very good tight spaces, got skills, got all the party tricks, can keep it simple. I think one thing he needs to polish on is that focusing, because sometimes, as good as he is technically, there was a couple of times the fullback will pass it into him and he'll just lose the ball cheaply. Like, you can't be doing that if you're going to develop into into a next level footballer, because you lose the ball, that's a sharp chance on goal. Do you get it? So maybe focusing in them sort of things, he can improve at. Who else is there? I've already said Cardoso. Already said Vieira. I've already said, is it Ferreira of Porto of Portugal as well. Let me get his full name, because I always get Vieira of Porto mixed up with him. So let me get his other name. This guy was a central midfielder. Find his full name. Victor Mercado Ferreira. He was decent. Like I've said. So you had Vieira, you had him. I think Ombolo, when he did get a couple moments, I'm so sure he was at the Toulon tournament. And just off topic, I can't remember if he played. I'm so sure he was in the squad. But that Balde of Porto, dreadlock guy, he's very sick, man, just to keep on task with the Portuguese talents and that. I've already said Thiago Lopez, familiar face, as was Tavares. The Italians, they had some decent players in their squad generally. In Fagioli, I believe his name is. I did like Indogi, the young left back. He weren't the best, but he was committed. Would have liked to have seen more of them, admittedly. More of Italy. Why does I keep doing that? In regards to France, first and foremost, the best player I would have said is Solan. You've seen him play at the Under-17s World Cup. He plays for Lyon. I think he's got a solid future in the game at the heart of defence. Very composed, good ball player, sticks to his task. One of the better players from France. You had him. I liked Theo Ndika Matam. Very positive fullback. Very much a modern day fullback. Looks to get in behind and put crosses. Crosses need a lot of work. Admittedly, a lot of work. But I do think he plays for Lyon and they've got a decent fullback, whether he's going to make it there or elsewhere. They had a fairly competent right back in Pierre Kalulu, I believe, or Kalulu, I believe his name is. Decent right back from France. I believe this guy's a winger / forward who has just joined Nantes, but Ndulu, yeah, I believe that's his name. He was decent for France. I think France had some okay players. I was impressed with Ireland as well. I think Ireland, unlucky not to get to the further stages. They came against a good Portuguese side, forgive me if I'm wrong, but they had Hodge. Hodge has played at... this ain't the first tournament Hodge has been at this summer. Hodge is at City. Who knows if he'll make it at City, but he's very committed. He scored a lovely goal against Norway. I really like him. I did like as well Ali Rigba, I believe. He plays for Ireland. I've seen that he's just joined from Bohemians. He's gone to Leicester. I liked how he's a good ball carrier. He got the ball from deep and it helped relieve pressure on his teammates. I do think there's a lot of good talent people really and truly at this competition. For me, the four names really that I'm thinking, wow, from this tournament, because I felt this was an opportunity for me to do that. I'd say Soleil, the centre-half, Solen of France and Lyon. I'd say Felix Carrera of Sporting Lisbon, sorry people. Bryan Gil of Sevilla / Spain. And I'd say Ferran Torres. He obviously got 2 in the final as well. He's obviously of Valencia and he is well known already. So they would be my players really and truly, people, if I had to. But I'm just happy that I'm finished with the youth tournaments now, and we can just focus on, well, it's the Emirates Cup today, but we can just get back to focusing on Arsenal. And yeah, man, it's been a tough summer. Obviously, I've tried my best to give you lot videos of things I'm watching. You lot know me. I talk about Arsenal tactics, deluded thoughts, but at the heart of it, I love to talk about young players. So I'm always going to do that at any given opportunity. And there are some good players for clubs to look at and run the rule over here, people. And there are some players I thought a bit, there are some players you see on the scene a lot. For me, for example, I'm keen to see next season what happens with Victor Moyel of Spain, because he's made his debut as a 16 years of age against whoever it was for Atletico. He's a very decent winger. He says he wants to stay at Atletico for life and things like that. And you'd think surely he could sneak a place in the squad. So I'm keen to see him. Bryan Gil, I'm going to try. I know he's only 17, so I need to temper my expectations. But I really believe he can play significantly or to a decent amount for Seville next season. I really like him, man. I think he's a very gracious winger. If he is quick, he doesn't look quick. But for me, it's just he's a very cultured individual. He's putting balls into certain areas not for the sake of it, but a specific reason. Very good Very good winger, man. Very good crosser. He reminds me of, is it Ojarabo in that? Ojarabo isn't the quickest, but they kind of beat you with technical ability, if you get what I'm saying. They're not slow, but I'm sure you get where I'm getting at with that, man. There was some good talent on show, man, and there's been good talent on show at a lot of these tournaments that I've watched this summer. But for now, that's all I've got to add, so I'm going to get out of here. People, deluded. I'm out.